Good morning. Good morning, Upper School. How are you? Good. All right. Well, welcome to our Honor Council or Honor Signing Ceremony. This is a very unique ceremony across independent schools. And I just want to pause and recognize that for years, and you'll hear about the ceremony and the commitment of the Honor Code throughout this ceremony. But we're a rare school that pauses and focuses on a rite of passage that you don't graduate from Maclay unless you sign this book. You're not a full member of the Maclay community unless you take the pledge and understand that living with honor is a high calling and it's worth the work to do. A Maclay graduate is one that is held above others because we want you to be someone that people look to in times of trouble, that lean on when they need support, and you are the strongest person and the most reliable person and the most honest person in the room. And it's important for us. And it's important for you because you find meaning, you find comfort, and you find purpose in having others rely on you and taking up responsibility, lifting heavy things, and doing big things for your community and for your family and for yourself. So today we pause and commit to that. So as the speakers come, as we focus on those things, just know that this is an important day. It's an important pledge as you join freshmen and new students, as you join the family in honor and in commitment. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of Maclay. For those who are joining online, thank you for joining us. And let's have a great ceremony. Thank you.
Good morning. We're here today to pledge ourselves to the Honor Code of Maclay School. In 1996, a group of Maclay students took the initiative to come to members of the faculty and suggest founding an honor code for Maclay School. Throughout that year, a committee of volunteer students and teachers met to draw up the principles of the honor code and the honor council. Students wanted a council comprised of both faculty and student members. They were adamant that students should not be required to turn in offenders, but only encouraged to do so. After contacting people from other schools and talking to faculty members who were alumni of schools with honor codes, including Sewanee, Davidson, and the Air Force Academy, the committee drafted Maclay's honor code. The tradition of this ceremony started in 2000, when upper school students felt a need to visually and physically demonstrate their commitment to their school and community. They commissioned a craftsman to design a leather-bound parchment page book, a calligrapher to letter the pages for each class from 2002 to 2052, and a cabinet maker to build a display case for the book to be visible to all visitors to the school. Each fall, we hold a candlelight ceremony in which all upper school students and faculty who have not previously signed the Book of Honor add their signatures to the book. We continue that tradition today. New students and faculty to Maclay Upper School will be asked to sign their name in the Book of Honor, a symbolic deed that has been done by over 1,000 students and faculty members, both present and past. And now please welcome to the podium the faculty sponsor of the Honor Council, Mrs. Angela Croston.
Good morning. My name is Angela Croston. I'm the Upper School Academic Dean and the sponsor of Honor Council. The Honor Council is comprised of students elected each year by their peers. They are students that we trust to adhere to our principles, to value honesty, and who hold the respect of fellow students and faculty alike. They are called upon to address and give guidance in cases where the Honor Code has not been upheld. I'd like to recognize each of the members, so once I say your name, if you would please stand. Freshmen, Suhani Gaude and Will Hunkapiller. Sophomores, Collins Barton and Jack Browning. Juniors, Copeland Frazee, Rajan Janadra, David May, and Brinkley Snow. And if my senior members would come forward and stand next to me, please. Chari Beamer, Oakley Dyson, Eli Harold, and Isabel McDaniel. On behalf of Maclay Upper School, we thank you for your service. All right. And now, Senior Isabel McDaniel would like to share a few words with you about the Honor Code.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Isabel McDaniel, a senior on the Honor Council. In the spring of 2016, a committee of students, parents, and faculty worked to revise the Honor Code to be something that all Marauders, pre-K through 12th grade, can internalize and refer to throughout their Maclay career. Honorable, respectful, accountable is what these students, parents, and faculty decided on. These are the values listed in the Honor Code we use today. The first value listed in the Honor Code is honorable. Being honorable encompasses the way we, as Maclay students, should carry ourselves from day to day. We are charged by the code to act with honor in every situation we encounter. Respectful. This word should govern the way we interact with others. As a Maclay student, you must treat everyone you meet with respect. Finally, accountable. As Maclay students, we must always hold ourselves accountable for our own actions, regardless of the actions of others. It is our duty to admit our mistakes and be honest when we know we have done something wrong. Since my freshman year, I have served on the Honor Council, and I have found it to be one of the most important parts of my time at Maclay. The Honor Code was put into place to uphold our school's core values, those of honor, respect, and accountability. These values are an important part of what makes Maclay a one-school community, and the code reminds us all to hold ourselves to a higher standard. The code sets Maclay students apart and helps us succeed in our lives after high school. Once you sign the book, it is your responsibility to follow the Honor Code in and out of Maclay School. Thank you.
Good morning. It is my privilege and honor to introduce our speaker this morning, Mr. Bill Krizner. Mr. Krizner grew up in Western Pennsylvania and comes from a long family lineage of coal miners and police officers. He accepted a scholarship to wrestle for Elizabethtown College and then later graduated from Florida State University's law school with honors. Mr. Krizner worked as an associate for the largest labor and employment firm in the country before beginning the Krizner Group in 2001. He went back to school after establishing the Krizner Group and received his Master's of Divinity and currently focuses his work on missions and outreach at a local church. Please give your undivided attention to our guest speaker, Mr. Bill Krizner.
Well, good morning, Maclay.
Good morning.
That's when you say good morning, that's right. So here's my first question, which is simply this. When was the last time you looked in a mirror, right? And the answer is, hey, Bill, before I came to school this morning. And you probably did it because you wanted to cover up that pimple. You wanted to tease your hair maybe just a little bit more. You walked out maybe feeling good, right? Ready for the next snap. But I want to ask you this. Have you ever studied your image maybe just a little bit deeper, right? Looked in the mirror, looked into your eyes, and you saw what I would call that second person, your soul, right? That being that's just behind the external you. Have you looked at it? Have you considered who you really are? And I think if we're honest, everybody in this room, you've done that at some point, right? And the reality is that everybody else around you looks at that second person even more than they look to see if you've got beautiful skin, if you've got strong muscles, if you've got that perfect hair. In fact, that second person is how people make the most important decisions about you. Whether they'll look to you to be a genuine friend, whether that teacher sees you as a committed and trustworthy student, whether an employer will ultimately choose you for that promotion one day that matters greatly, and whether somebody will decide that they want to trust you with their life when it comes to marriage. The good news, though, is this, which is unlike our physical appearance, right? You're kind of stuck with the way you look. The good news is that you have complete control over that second person. Whether you decide to live a life of honor, of giving, of respecting, of doing the things that you say that you're going to do. And when you do that, people notice. They may not come up to you and say anything about it, but they want to be around you more and more and more. But yet if you lie, you disrespect others, right? You fail to hold up the promises that you've pledged, there's no way to cover up who you really are. There's no makeup that'll hide the ugliness. There's no chance to sort of just straighten the hair and get that look. No brushing your teeth to hide or mask that terrible morning breath of lies. Nope, everybody knows your integrity and your character, or the lack thereof. And once you give it away, it's almost impossible to ever get it back. And it's one of those daily decisions that you make, right? Every decision, right or wrong. And what happens is it starts to build on itself, day in and day out. And it's who you become. You know, we're letting that kid hang out with our group start to hurt our image. Will it really matter if I sneak that cheat sheet into class? I mean, after all, college admissions right now is crazy hard. Is it a big deal if I go and I have a beer or two at lunch, and then I come back and I just sort of buzz into math class? I mean, who could it possibly hurt, right? Who cares if I get the answer to the exam from the senior last year that allows me to have an edge over my peers this year? But I got to tell you that the short-term gain in all those situations almost always results in long-term pain. Because these decisions, they're what I call sticky, right? They cling to you, and they change how others see you. You know, look, they might still hang out with you, but I promise you, they don't really trust you. And what you end up with is surface-level friendships and weak relationships that end up plaguing you for the rest of your life. And I know, because I was a high schooler once too, at this point, right, in my sharing, you're thinking, nah, Mr. Krizner, I hear what you're saying, but look, right now is just a time to have fun. It's not a big deal, right? Besides, I'll straighten out when I just get a little bit older. But my friend, I can tell you it doesn't work that way. You see, a lack of integrity begins to change how you start to perceive your own self. You look at it in the mirror, and you start to see it. They start small, but you start to see the scars of the lies, the deceit, the cheating, and it's increasingly harder and harder to look at until eventually you stop looking at all, and you lose track of who you are as a person. And life starts to take these twists and these turns that you never see coming. And even more, they're twists and turns that you can't control. It's like being a runaway car down a hill. And you lose who you are as a human being. You know, in the old days up north, farmers would have to go and they'd have to care for their animals in the middle of cold winter nights. And at times there would be these enormous blizzards with snow and high-powered wind that would whip through. And to avoid being carried away by the storm, they would actually tie a rope to their ankle, and they would tether it to the barn so they could go out and get the wayward animals and bring them back in. You see, they tethered themselves because they wanted to stay anchored in place. They wanted to make sure they are anchored to a place that would keep them safe, to ensure that they wouldn't lose their way. And integrity in our everyday is just like that. You see, if we tether ourselves to something solid, it helps us stay secure, to become people of true integrity. And then when the temptations of all kinds come flying at us, we're able to hold our ground and ensure that we remain safe in the barn while everyone around us is being swept here and there and there. The honor code, right, at Maclay is that tether. It's to remind us all that we're called to become citizens and students that live lives of true integrity. And I see this truth at work all the time, both my role as a lawyer and as a priest. Without that tethering, you lose your way, and one bad decision builds on another until disaster strikes and you're blown away by the blizzard. For example, when a husband cheats on his wife, I can promise you that it is not the first time that he has practiced dishonesty in his life. Or when a businesswoman loses her entire company because of tax evasion, it's not the first time that she's told someone lies. Indeed, you can almost always trace these adult train wrecks back to decisions that they began to make in high school. So the question is simple. Who do you want to be in life? How do you want people to see you? And friends, it's not easy. In fact, following these words of honor and respect and accountability, it's downright costly. And I'm not without my own faults and my own failures. I can tell you all kinds of stories when I made really bad decisions, both back in high school and as an adult. And I suffered consequences. It catches us all. But I can tell you that I've tried very, very hard in my life to constantly look beyond the surface whenever I gaze into the mirror. And I try really hard to stay tethered to that great call of integrity. But at times, it's really hard. A quick example for me came about 15 years ago. Much like many others, I got caught up in what we called the coastal land rush. Everybody decided that the property from St. Teresa all the way over to Destin was the best investment to make, right? The interest rates were low, the market was going crazy, and so I bought 2 properties with 3 other friends with the idea that we were going to make millions and millions of dollars. And everybody was excited, so we ran to the banks and we got these enormous loans. Then the worst thing happened. The market popped, and everyone had wanted to invest, but now nobody wanted to buy. And the mortgage payments kept coming in, one by one, stacking up. And my partners decided that they weren't willing to keep paying for the loans that we had. Indeed, one of them pulled me aside and said, "You know what, Bill? We should just ignore all those bills. After all, the bank will probably offer us some kind of settlement, or worst case, right, our credit rating will only suffer for 7 years, and then everything will be okay." And I thought about it, and I prayed about it a bit, but it really didn't make any sense to me. You see, we were willing to make promises to repay loans to the bank when there was money to be made, but now somehow it was supposed to be okay for us to walk away from our commitment simply because it wasn't profitable anymore. So I made a really difficult decision to make the payments on behalf of all 4 of us. I did that for 5 additional years. And it wasn't fun. We skipped out on some vacations and didn't get to do some of the things maybe we would have done otherwise. And I wish that I could tell you there was this great happy ending, that after those 5 years, a billionaire came sweeping in and paid me double what we had paid for the lot. But the reality is that I lost a lot of money when we finally sold it. But I can tell you that when I go to those same banks today, they'll lend me any amount of money that I ask them for. And when I see those bankers at the events, the community and charity events, I'm able to look them in the eye, knowing that I honored my commitment to them. Living with integrity is always costly, but I can tell you it's always worth it. So as a 50-year-old guy, I've watched people succeed and I've watched people fail throughout their lives. And the single most important factor in determining whether somebody is satisfied and happy in life, it's integrity. It's integrity to self and it's integrity to the community. So I encourage each of you as freshmen and transfers and new faculty members who will be coming to sign this book today, as well as all of you upperclassmen and the faculty that's been here forever who made the pledge before, to see beyond this as just one of those silly Maclay traditions, and to instead consider the fact that you're making a pledge to live a life of integrity, a life that allows you to boldly look at that second person staring back at you in the mirror and know who you really are, and a life that will allow you to have genuine friendships and future marriages that last, to work with teachers and peers that trust you, and to find a future that will have both peace and fulfillment. So Maclay, today is the day to make the pledge, because Marauders are indeed honorable, respectful, and accountable. Thank you for your time.
We will now call on those who have not yet signed the Book of Honor to do so. Each class will be called individually, followed by any faculty who have yet to sign. During this part, the following musicians will perform, and we ask that you will hold your applause until the very end of the ceremony. From upper school, Gabby DeToli, Jack DeRozier, Lainey Ford, Jackson Kottkamp, Dylan Williams, and Robert Wood. From middle school, Grace Kennedy, Meta Konda, Emmy Cutter, Fern Liebrick, Kia Patel, Logan Pham, and Bleakley Shettle. And from the faculty, Mr. Aaron Seiler and Dr. Aaron Spots. Senior class, class of 2023, please stand. Any seniors who have not yet already signed the Book of Honor will do so now. They will be joined by their class president, Lily Phipps. Following the signing, all seniors will join in an affirmation of the Honor Code.
Members of the class of 2023, please affirm your support of the Maclay Honor Code by repeating after me. A marauder is honorable, respectful, accountable. After each question, please answer, I will. Will you respect all people and property? Will you be honest in all matters? Will you take responsibility for your actions? Thank you. You may be seated.
Junior class, class of 2024, please stand. Any juniors who have not yet already signed the Book of Honor will do so now. They will be joined by their class president, Aiden Merritt. Following the signing, all juniors will join in an affirmation of the Honor Code.
Members of the class of 2024, please affirm your support of the Maclay Honor Code by repeating after me. A marauder is honorable, respectful, and accountable. After each question, please answer, I will. Will you respect all people and property? Will you be honest in all matters? Will you take responsibility for your actions? Thank you. You may be seated.
Sophomore class, class of 2025, please stand. Any sophomores who have not already signed the Book of Honor will do so now. They will be joined by their class president, Carson Conway. Following this signing, all sophomores will join in an affirmation of the Honor Code.
Members of the class of 2025, please affirm your support of the Maclay Honor Code by repeating after me. A marauder is honorable, respectful, and accountable. After each question, please answer, I will. Will you respect all people and property? Will you be honest in all matters? Will you take responsibility for your actions? Thank you. You may be seated.
Freshman class, class of 2026, please stand. You will now join the rest of the high school in signing the Book of Honor. You will be joined by your class president, Suhani Gowdy. Following this signing, all freshmen will recite an affirmation of the Honor Code. And at this point, because there are so many, if everybody but the first row will now take their seat, and we will go one row at a time. Thank you.
Please rise. Members of the class of 2026, please affirm your support of the Maclay Honor Code by repeating after me. A marauder is honorable, respectful, accountable. After each question, please answer, I will. Will you respect all people and property? Will you be honest in all matters? Will you take responsibility for your actions? Thank you. You may be seated.
Members of the faculty and staff, please stand. Any who have not already signed the Book of Honor will do so now. They will be joined by Mr. Charles Beamer, Upper School Director. Following this signing, all faculty will recite an affirmation of the Honor Code.
Members of the Maclay Upper School faculty and staff, please affirm your support of the Maclay Honor Code by repeating after me. A marauder is honorable, respectful, and accountable. After each question, please answer, I will. Will you respect all people and property? Will you be honest in all matters? Will you take responsibility for your actions? Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you all for your participation in today's ceremony. A special recognition of Mr. John Gusseroff, who I left off earlier for playing the piano, and for Jackson Cottcamp, who will play after the ceremony has concluded. Please, let's give a round of applause to all of our musicians. I now call on Senior Paloma Rambana to lead us in song. And please stand while we conclude this ceremony with the alma mater. If you have a program, the words are on the back.
Please join me in the singing of the Maclay alma mater. Amid plantations, sunny hills, green the pines reach for blue skies, a school that certain pride instills, and in us all this pride doth rise. So with our hearts and minds as one, our song of praise has just begun. With your bright lamp to light our way, we sing to you, our dear Maclay.
Again, thank you all. We ask you now to join us for a celebratory cupcake sponsored by the Upper School Student Council and served by the Maclay Community Association. We'll ask seniors to head over first, and as you grab your cupcake, please depart or stay in the bleachers or the seats. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.